Well, firstly, I don't think I did want to apply. I didn't feel like it was within reach. It never honestly crossed my mind independently. And then two colleagues just sort of planted a little seed, like just gave me this little nugget of, I think I could see you doing this. And one of them was a throwaway comment that I really laughed off. And another was from an actual fellow who I really deeply respect her. And I think we've fallen into a sort of mentorship situation quite by accident, which I think is how they're supposed to happen. And she said, I really think you should go for it and I will support you. And then I looked at the criteria and I thought, actually, this is a lot more open than I thought it was. I thought I would have to be 100 and probably a bloke to do it. But it turns out there's more avenues than I realized. And when I looked through it, I thought, actually, do you know what? I have done a lot of things. And the criteria isn't totally explicit. So, I could have done 3 out of the 5 things and it would have been fine. So I looked through it and I thought, okay, well, I'll draft something down. And then when I sent it to her, she said, well, I knew you'd done a lot of things, but I didn't realize it was quite this extensive. So I thought, actually, maybe I do belong. So I think the lesson in that is, I don't think you're ever going to be your biggest fan, the one who blows your own trumpet. I think you do need community or respected colleagues to give you a bit of a nudge. But also you could be that guy, you could encourage your friends to do it, your colleagues to do it. It's way more accessible than I'd anticipated. And I feel like that's the aim of it now. And I would much sooner do it now when I'm really in the midst of my career, like I'm in the middle of my career, maybe, hopefully. And I've still got time to live it out whilst in practice. And I think that's really important, being able to be celebrated whilst remaining on the front line of clinical practice, because, frontline practitioners are just everything. Do you know, I never really thought about the ramifications or the consequences of my actions when I applied. Initially, I was just really excited and astonished to get in, but now I've had time to reflect on it and the sort of person, the colleague, the fellow that I want to be. And I just want to open gates for people. I want to see potential, well, I do see potential in people, but I want to draw that out of them. I want to say, look, if I can do it, and believe me, I've failed so many things, I've got so many things wrong, and I've done a lot of different things in my career. Like, if I can do it, this is something that you could do. And, luckily I had someone to encourage and guide me, and it would only be right to do the same thing. There's been lots of things about today that have been different from other veterinary events that I have gone to. The first thing that was really, really notable is, and it's not necessarily different to everything, but how thrilled everyone is here to see each other and to welcome new people in. And, the first word out of so many people's mouths has been congratulations. And I don't think I've given myself space and time to really think about it in terms of an achievement until today, when people that I really respect and admire are welcoming me in. So that's been really cool. Another thing which has been really pertinent, that I had to examine some biases that I had today, because oftentimes when I go to lots of veterinary events like black tie balls or whatever, the women that you speak to can sometimes be the plus one. And coming into the fellowship, I'm seeing the women that were the trailblazers. They are not the plus one, they are the main event. And they're the women that you want to thank and emulate. And they are so welcoming and inclusive and thrilled to have other women come into this space. I really, really loved that today, and that felt really poignant to me. As a student, I definitely didn't engage with the wider profession as much as I should have, could have, I don't know. I actually can't remember what opportunities were afforded to me at the time. I was too concerned with failing and then trying to scrape through my veterinary degree. But what I love about seeing the Fellows of the Future is they are already so aware of, the potential and the many different ways that you can go with a veterinary degree. And I love having them here. So, fellows who've maybe been here a long time are reminded that there are people different to them, and that where their contributions have brought us into the future. And I just think aspiration can start like really early on in your career, and I think it improves accessibility, and I think it keeps both sides of the spectrum in terms of experience really, really grounded, because we can learn from each other. So I think it's really cool. I think we've always got to be aware that we still have a way to go when we want to reflect the society that we serve. So improving inclusion and diversity within the fellowship is rightly a priority, and Neil spoke really eloquently on that this morning. I think self-awareness is really important for growth, and I think encouraging other people to join us and does not make it less special and less, it makes it less exclusive technically, but it's still an amazing achievement. But there are still so many people out there that deserve it also, that might just need that little helping hand. So I think that's where I see the fellowship going, given the discussions that we've had today. And I love how open everyone is about sharing their experiences and sharing their knowledge. So expanding that a little bit and celebrating the people that are already in our profession, but maybe just are hiding their light a little bit, could be where we end up.